very clear. So we are not going to take you through the 9 knowledge areas and the process groups and all those things. So here the assumption is that, okay, see, now you are planning to go for PMP, and how should you really prepare for the PMP certification in the most optimal way. You need not overdo it. At the same time, you should not underdo it as well. PMP is not very difficult. PMP is not as difficult as your graduation. At the same time, it may be as difficult as one paper of your graduation. So that much due diligence we must give. And it has tremendous value. Even today I was talking to somebody, one of my students who attended my programs in Qatar a couple of years back, and he migrated to US recently, and he's finding it very difficult to get a job there without a PMP title. So in the international market, if you want to get a decent job as a project manager, PMP title is a must. I presume that all of you are members of our site, PMRI Campus. So if you are not yet a member, please become a member of PMRIcampus.com. If you have any queries or any other points which I should address during this 1 hour, please key in the chat window. Or yep. So what I do is, okay, let me switch on my iPad as well, so that at least I know how I look to you. Okay. If you are planning for PMP, the first decision is whether you should go for we should decide on the mode of training. Sorry. We should decide on the mode of training. One is, okay, now sorry. So first of all, you have to decide on the mode of training. We have 2 types of training. You can either go for a classroom training, boot camp, they call it. Some people, okay, we deliver it in 3 days time. Somebody else delivers it in 4 days, or it could be even 5-day programs. One of the issues with this is, okay, you have to take leave for 3, 4, 5 days leave you have to take to attend this. Sometimes it is quite boring for the participant as well as for the trainer, because you are seeing the same faces again and again, the same topic. So sometimes it could be quite boring. And one of the opportunities is that, okay, you can network with other people. So there will be people from other organizations as well. So that will be a great opportunity for you to network with others. The instructor is available to you full-time during the course. That means if it's a 5-day course, all the 5 days the instructor is available to you. That is one plus point. And another issue is, like, after the training, you can lose motivation. So what we have seen is, okay, if there is a batch of around 10, the best batch was, okay, 7 out of that 10 became PMP. That was the best. But then normally what happens is, okay, 3 or 4 only will go for the final exam, and then they write it and they clear it. So that is an issue sometimes with the classroom training. So after the classroom training, the instructor loses control over you, and then you are on your own, and sometimes you don't even write the exam. So that is one issue. And most of the classroom trainings are expensive. So in the US it is around $2,000 to $2,500 US, and I'm sure that in the Middle East it is around around $1,000 as well, or more than 1,000. In India, we do it at $12,500. That is the classroom training. Now then comes the online training. In online training, now we have different variations of this online stuff. One is record and play. So somebody would have recorded the sessions, and you can just play it. And it can go to as cheap as $35 for your 35 contact hours. But will it really help you to write the exam? That is doubtful. Then the real-time stuff. Sometimes we used to conduct training for people. Real-time means, okay, the entire 300 slides will be played online and clarify their doubts. So 35 contact hours, instructor-led training. So that is also sometimes quite difficult because if you have to sit and listen to somebody online for 35 hours, oh, that can be quite tough. Then some programs are combination. That means, okay, the learning happens through study material, online training. The instructor has the contact. You have a contact session with the instructor at a fixed time. So it's a combination of all these things. So we do conduct this now. We find it very effective because the total duration of the course is around 30 days. 1 month, August 1st, if you start August 30th, it gets over. And you are on your own, and per week, 2 days, we have contact sessions with the instructor. That is for 1 hour each. So all your queries, everything can be answered during that contact session. So it has the best of everything. So you get the course material, all the lessons are recorded, and you have online test practice, and every week, 2 days, you have the instructor to clarify all your queries. And one problem with this is, okay, now since it's running for 30 days, sometimes your priorities can change. Halfway through you may lose interest, kind of thing. That's possible. You need a very good internet connection, sometimes a backup connection as well. And you should have the basic IT knowledge to operate a computer. So if you're coming from IT background, no issues, but then if you're coming from some other disciplines, sometimes, okay, they find it difficult. So you have to decide which one will work for you, a classroom training or an online training or a combination mode. The next steps, once you decide on the mode of training, the next step would be to earn that 35 contact hour certificate. At the end of this training, you get it, whether our training or somebody's training. So you will get the 35 contact hour certificate, and then after that you go for, you have to apply for the exam. Application for the exam is not complicated, but it is very monotonous. It may be as bad as maybe filling up your biodata from ground zero. So it will ask for last 6 years, your project experience, start date, end date, and the type of work you did, all those things. So it is not complex. At the same time, you'll have to spend some time in applying for the exam. So the best strategy would be after the class, after gaining the 35 contact hours, the best thing would be apply for the exam. That means you will have a target date to work towards. Otherwise, it will go as a never-ending process. And even if you're unable to write the exam on that particular date, you need not worry, because 3 times you can postpone your exam date without any additional fees. So that flexibility is also there. So the best thing you can do after the 35 contact hours class is you just go and apply for the exam, so, and schedule your exam. You get a date for exam date you get, so that you have a target date to work towards. If you are attending our training, we'll give you a 129-page PM Distill guide. A lot of people tell me, even today morning somebody was telling me, like, that is very, very user friendly. So actually when you see PMBOK, you start reading PMBOK before the course, it's a very good sleeping pill. You start reading PMBOK, immediately you'll sleep. Because it's a very bulky document, 400 pages. The sight of the document itself can be very tiring. So what you can do is, okay, you start with the PM Distill guide. So if you are doing our course, you will get it free. Otherwise, you can buy it for $10. If you have attended somebody's course, still you want the PM Distill guide, we can send you the PDF for just $10. Then you have to read the project management body of knowledge 3 times. Don't faint here, because it's a very bulky document, 400 pages. So how do you read it for 3 times? That could be very, very difficult. So again, don't read it from starting page to the last page. Start reading from section 4 and cover all the 9 knowledge areas. So that will reduce your burden to just around 260 pages. So you need not go through the entire 400 pages. And the first reading, my view is, okay, you should not sit down and read. You should lie down somewhere and read. It should not be a serious reading. The first reading should be just to understand the sections, the headers, just to familiarize yourself with the document. The second reading has to be a detailed reading. You have to take notes and all. So after reading the PM Distill Guide, if you're reading the PMBOK, it is not difficult. Then third time you must read, that is to make notes of those difficult to remember stuff. There are a lot of things like what is the budgetary estimate? Immediately you should remember that, okay, it is plus or minus 15%. What is the definitive estimate? Plus or minus 5%. So these kind of things, you will get questions and you have to somehow remember it. So all this difficult to remember stuff, you can make notes, which you can refer, which will act as a quick reference before you going for the final exam. Exam practice is key. Irrespective of your experience, irrespective of your knowledge, if you go for the exam without exam practice, you can fail. So you will have to practice those exams. And again, sometimes people ask me, should we practice a small set of questions or should we practice a large number of questions? There is no answer for that. It all depends on how good that sample is, because there is no dearth of question banks in the market. You get 10,000 questions, 20,000 questions. That will make your life miserable. So maybe we'll give you, if you are coming with our program, we'll just give you 600 questions. Keep doing it. And when you start scoring around 80 to 90% on that 600 questions consistently, that is the time when you should go for the final exam. You will clear, because our track record is that we have around 98% pass rate. Again, that is sales talk. When you say 98%, it doesn't mean that if 10 persons are attending our course, around 9 clears it. We are talking about 98% of those guys who wrote the exam. So effectively, if 10 comes for the training, only 3 or 4 will make it to the exam hall, and in that, okay, we have a good pass rate. So if you have any questions, don't forget to key in. I can answer them. Yeah. Okay. 1 minute. Don't tell everybody that you're going for PMP because they'll misguide you. You will get a lot of free advice. There are at least 20 books available in the market. Somebody will say buy that Phillips book. Somebody will say buy the Rita's book. N number of books are available in the market. And if you buy all those books and keep referring to everything, your life will be miserable. See, our course material was 400 pages initially. And over these 4 or 5 years, we were only deleting pages. Whatever is irrelevant for PMP, we deleted, and we brought it down to 128 pages. And we have referred all these books available in the market. So people can just like that give you a lot of free advice, especially those guys who have cleared PMP recently. They'll give you a lot of free advice. Sometimes your life can become very miserable. And if you tell a lot of my view is like this, if you are as lazy as me, because I am the laziest guy on earth, so if you're as lazy as me, then tell a lot of people that you are going for exam. That will create a lot of peer pressure on you and then go and write. But if you are a person who cannot perform under pressure, then don't tell anybody, you just go and finish it off. Effort and duration, sometimes people ask me like, okay, in how much time I can finish it off? Sorry. See, you will take approximately 80 hours of effort for training and self-study. Out of this 80 hours, 35 hours will go for the 35 contact hours, and the remaining time is for your self-study and all. So approximately 80 hours if you plan. That is a pretty decent estimate. And after the training, after gaining the 35 contact hours, if you write the exam within 40 days, then your probability of becoming a PMP is very, very high. Otherwise, most probably after 1 year, again you will go for the training program. So that is also there. So once you gain the 35 contact hours, write the exam within next 35 to 40 days time. That is easy. That means concepts will be very fresh in your mind. Sometimes, okay, people by heart, there are 42 processes, and each of these processes are input, tools and techniques and outputs. I can tell you very, very confidently, whoever has by hearted this have failed in the first attempt miserably. Because when you go for the exam, 200 questions will come to you in 240 minutes, and your mind will be blank. So if your subject knowledge is not good, sometimes you will not be able to even give a fight. So you will just surrender and then come out. So don't take extra pains to mug up things. The easiest way is to understand things, because everything is pretty valuable when you go for project management practice. So there is a logical sequence. You just try to understand. That is very easy. But then again, the trainer, it all depends on the trainer. Some trainers, okay, they just read out these inputs, tools and techniques and outputs. But if the trainer is good, experienced, he may be able to show you from things from a practitioner's perspective. So some trainers I've seen, because I've trained almost 4,000 people. So what happens is, if somebody becomes a PMP today, tomorrow is a trainer. So then all he does is, okay, he'll just read out the inputs, bullets, tools and techniques and outputs. You'll get the 35 contact hours, but then additional value you may not get. So always be very choosy about selecting the trainer. Look at their profile. While taking the exam, there are 200 questions coming to you in 240 minutes. No need to panic, because some questions will take only seconds to answer, whereas some questions you can take 2-3 minutes, not an issue. Some questions you will be able to answer in seconds. No negative marks, so that headache is not there. All questions are objective type. At the same time, most of them will be situational. And if you are unable to answer a question immediately, you can mark a question and then move on. Then my view is, don't mark too many questions for later, because that itself will mount a lot of pressure on you. So finish it off, that's it. Sometimes you will get a streak of questions which are very tough. Then PMI says they have built in some intelligence into the whole system, and the logic is like this: if you are doing the test very well, you will get a streak of tough questions. So if the questions are becoming very tough for you, that means you are doing very well. So be happy about it. At some point in time, you'll make a mistake, and again the questions will become more and more easy for you. The best source for information for how to apply the syllabus and all those things is the PMP handbook, so which you can download from pmi.org. You can download the PMP handbook, and that gives you, that's a very good document that gives you complete details on how to go about to apply for PMP. Professional responsibility part is very, very important, because if any of your questions are in violation to any of the professional responsibility bullets, most probably that answer will be wrong. So this will act as a good checklist for you while answering the questions. The last few pages of PMP handbook provides you complete details about the professional responsibility. We are conducting now an online program called PM Digital Online. It starts on 1st of every month and completes on the last date of every month. The fee is $110, which is equivalent to the cost of Rita Mulaki's book. 2 contact sessions with the instructor weekly we have, morning as well as evening, every Monday and Tuesday. And if we have a lot of people from the Middle East attending, then we can tune to the Middle East timing as well. Duration is 1 month. At the end of it, you get 35 contact hours. And we provide you with videos, reference material, test practice, and contact sessions with the instructor for doubt clarification. So it's a combination of both actually. The classroom part alone we are replacing with the videos. At the same time, we don't want to leave you alone because then the instructor will work with you for 30 days and then finish it off. So if you're interested, please do come in and join. August 1st, we are starting a course. So I think personally speaking, I'm more interested in the online now because that is pretty good.